I'd like to do a quick demo on the strategic acquisition system that is built into Acquisition Pro. So whether you're a real estate investor, either residential or commercial, whether you're a real estate agent or broker, again, residential or commercial real estate, a property management company, whether you're residential or commercial real estate, or you're a lender and you do residential loans or commercial loans, this system will work for you. For that matter, if you sell cars or medical devices, this system will work for you. So let's dive into this real quick. If I go into my Acquisition Pro account, what I want to show you is how this system will be your only prospecting and marketing tool that you're going to need. All the rest of the tools that you currently pay for, just scrap them, get rid of them. You no longer need them. Acquisition Pro and the strategic acquisition system will cover everything you need. And here's why. So if we look down at our automations, we have this workflow. So we have new leads that come in. Then we start to work them through a process. We attempt to contact them. They respond. We get them to book an appointment. Sometimes they don't show up, so we back them up a little bit. During the booked appointment, they don't want to, maybe, kind of, sort of. We put them in a nurture sequence, or, yeah, this is really cool. I'm interested in this, just not ready to pull the trigger yet. Maybe we put them in the warm list, or, yep, I'm ready to go, but they haven't paid yet, or they haven't given you money yet, or they haven't signed the listing agreement yet. Then we put them into hot prospects, and then when we've won the business, we put them down here. And this could be designed for any business. This is a typical lead flow. It doesn't matter what business you're in, whether you're in real estate or whether you're selling cars, it's irrelevant. This lead flow is how it works. Now, this lead flow, these automations, as we take them through, and I'll show you how this works in a minute, they are all tied to your pipeline. So if we look at the pipeline and our opportunities, and our lead cards would sit under here as we have them, again, same thing. We start with new lead. Notice the pipeline is numbered 001. The lead is numbered 001. Here, our workflow is labeled 001, and our workflows are labeled A001 to distinguish it from the pipeline. But it's all integrated. So as somebody moves down the workflow, if they go from new lead to responded, then they automatically move from new lead to responded. So it's a very, very powerful system. When they book an appointment, it'll automatically move them to book appointment. We don't have to touch anything. It works fully automated. So let's go through the system and just let me show you how this works. So first, we need to know what to do with the lead when the lead comes into the system. So whether they come in through a Facebook ad, a LinkedIn ad, a Google ad, or a website from Google, a Google search result, or TikTok, or any other method that you brought them in. Maybe you just added a tag to them, or you brought them in through some kind of API. Don't worry about big words. It's not for you to understand right now. All we're doing at this point is how did they come in, and then we're going to add them to that first workflow. That's all this does, is it adds them right to here, okay? At the same time, it's going to add them to attempt to contact. Now, I'll go to attempt to contact in a minute, but if we go into where it adds them first, so the lead comes in, they get added here. So what it does is it updates or creates that opportunity right away. So it puts them in new lead, so it moves them to here and adds them right there as a new lead. The other thing it's going to do is add a tag for new lead, which will also add them to A002 when they get this tag. If there's multiple users, we're going to go ahead and assign a user to that account or to this workflow, depending on who it is. And at that point, we're going to start to send them SMS messages, email messages. We can even do ringless voicemail. Okay, we can do all three of these. Notice that external phone calls, outbound phone calls, is not here because that's what we're going to do in A002, which is why these two run simultaneously. But here we send an SMS email, or we send an SMS, which is a text message. We send an email, and we can leave a ringless voicemail. Now, depending on your business, we can do all three. We can only do one. We can do two. It's up to however you run your business. Then you wait a period of time. Doesn't have to be 10 minutes. I'm running a workflow right now for this, for a campaign I'm doing, where my first one is I wait 6 hours. It depends on your business. I custom tailor this to your business. Then we run the second SMS and the second email. Notice we only do one ringless voicemail. Then we wait a day, we do it again, wait a day, do it again, and we can do this as many times as you want. I currently run a workflow that for off-market properties that is 9 emails long. I also have a workflow for finding accredited investors that is 8 emails long. The SMS campaign for both of those are 5 SMSs long, so this can be modified to whatever your business is. If they don't respond by the end of this, we add them somewhere else. In this case, we're sending them to A010 workflow, which is unresponsive because they did not respond to anything. But you don't have to do that. You could add them to A006, which you'll see in a minute, is just nurture, where you're sending them something weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, totally up to you, however you want to do it for your business. We work together to do that. All right, so we work them through. If they respond, if they reply in a text, if they reply in the email, or if they call you back on your phone number that you leave from your ringless voicemail, it will then automatically move them to responded confirmed. You don't have to touch anything. All right, but let's say you want to make phone calls instead of, or in addition to sending an SMS, sending an email, sending a ringless voicemail, you also want to have one of your team members or yourself do outbound calls. So we go into the workflow A002, attempt to contact, and you'll see all we're doing here is they got added that tag, new lead, so that started this workflow, so it goes at the same time A001 does. And now we're going to do a manual call. And the lead is going to sit here until you make this call. Once you attempt this call, that lead will then get their opportunity updated in the pipeline to attempted to contact. So it'll move from 1 to 2. Then the wait times don't matter. It's irrelevant in this, and I'll show you why in a second, because it's just going to wait for you to make the call. If they don't answer or you get a voicemail, it just puts them at the end of the list. So the wait's irrelevant. It's more of a minimum time. So if you want to recall them again the same day as you go through your list, and I'll show you this in a second, then a shorter period of time works. Or if you want to wait 2 days, 3 days, a week before you call them again, then you can change these wait times. And again, you can do as many calls as you want. Now, we don't have an end to this workflow because depending on when you make that call and a pop-up comes up and you select what's on that pop-up, that automatically changes this workflow. All right? So how do we do that? Well, if we come back over here and I go to conversations and I go to manual actions, everybody that has been added to A002 will be sitting in here. All right? All we have to do is hit Let's Start. When we hit Let's Start, the first contact that is sitting here on the list, let's say you have 10 people in that list, you hit Let's Start, the first contact will pop up on your phone. Oh, I don't have a phone number on this account. The phone will pop up because you'll have a phone number with your account. It will pop up. The contact's phone number will be in there. You'll make the call. When you hang up, another pop-up will come up and it'll say, what was the result of the call? Your 3 options are completed, did not answer, voicemail. If you select did not answer or voicemail, It just adds the contact to the end of this list. So manual actions will go to the bottom. It'll stay, that contact will stay in A002. They will just be added to the bottom of the list so that they can be followed up on as soon as you've gone through the other 9. So it is a constant follow-up system until you finally reach that person doing outbound calls. If you hit completed, then it will automatically tag that lead completed, add them to the A003 contact reached workflow, and remove them from the A002 workflow. So that's how, and this is known as an auto dialer, but it doesn't dial for you. You still dial it manually, and your list stays exactly the same. And as you go down it, it just keeps adding them to the bottom of the list so you never miss a follow-up call. This is an extremely powerful system. So if we go back to the workflows, the next step, you've conversed with them, you're sending text messages to them, they've responded, emails, you're emailing back and forth, whatever the case. The next goal is get them to schedule an appointment. So at this point, they book an appointment. When they book an appointment, they get removed from A001, A002, and A003 and added to A005 in the pipeline. So if we come back here and we go back to opportunities, they automatically get added right here to booked appointment. You hold the appointment, and at that point, after you hold the appointment, you're actually going to get an email 10 minutes after the appointment. So if we scroll down and we come all the way to the bottom, you'll see wait 10 minutes after. So these are all the reminders. So you're going to get reminders. The contact will get reminders. You'll get reminders that your appointment is coming up, and this does integrate with Zoom, and you have a built-in calendar inside of Acquisition Pro and inside your strategic acquisition system. Notice we have one for 10 minutes after the scheduled appointment. Then it's going to send you an internal notification. You can do it by SMS or email, and it's going to be, please confirm appointment status for whatever this contact's name is, and utilizing this link. Now, interestingly enough, what will happen is you click on this link, a little form is going to pop up for you, and it's going to automatically fill in the contact's name, the contact's email, and the contact's phone number, if you have the contact's phone number, if you've been doing SMS. And it's going to ask you a series of questions. The questions are going to be, did the appointment show up? So was it a no-show or canceled? Warm prospect, hot prospect, or one. So you're going to have these selections to make. Based on that selection from that form, you then automatically move that prospect to that part of the workflow. So if on that conversation on your Zoom meeting, you're working with a passive investor, and that passive investor decides that they want to do a $50,000 soft commitment with you, you send them a subscription agreement and they fill out the subscription agreement, that is considered one. If you send them the subscription agreement and they have not filled it out yet, I would move them to hot because you're just waiting them to complete that action. Same if you're an agent or a broker, you send the owner a listing agreement and you're waiting on the owner to sign the listing agreement. Your prospect sits in hot as you wait for that signature, and then you move them to one at that point. All right, so even from booked appointment, that's how that works. Now, what you don't have to fear is when you move them to nurture or warm or hot, there are going to be email sequences in these or SMS messages, however you want to do it. Okay, you have SMS and email. But what I've done here is if you don't know what you're going to send yet, it's okay. Do not stop this process because you don't have a big, long nurture campaign yet. It will put them in here and it's going to wait 999 days at this step for you to put your first messages in here. and then it'll wait again. Now, typically we only want to wait 7 days, or maybe it's 14, or maybe it's 28, however you want to do it. But you may not have a second message ready yet, so it's going to continue to wait another 999 days and repeat that process. Now, we don't need 2 of them there. We can delete this one. That can go away, okay? And then you do it again. And then you just keep rinsing and repeating, all right, as many times as you want to for the nurture campaign. That is the same for, hold on a second, that is the same for hot, and that is the same for warm. And you have those same wait times. The key is that you hold that appointment. Do not stop you from doing your prospecting and getting those appointments so you can get that business because you haven't completed these nurture campaigns yet. Just park the prospect here until you start to fill these out. The important thing is that you have that booked appointment, all right? So that's how this workflow works. It's extremely powerful. It's easy to use. It's all tied together. If you're thinking, well, wait a minute, what's all this other stuff? Don't worry about this other stuff, okay? You don't need to know all this other stuff. All you need to know is how to move your prospect from the time that you get them in as a lead all the way through to the time where you're doing business with them. That's all that matters to you. That's all that matters to me. And that's what the strategic acquisition system does. So that's it for now. I am David Monroe, CCIM. I am the creator of this system. Acquisition Pro is built, in case you're wondering, you're like looking at this going, this looks really familiar. It is built on the high-level framework. Acquisition Pro is my company. I license the high-level software to be able to put the strategic acquisition system and be able to deliver it to you. If you have any questions, please email me. If you want to schedule an appointment with me and see if this is for you, the appointment link is below this video.